Got that? I apologize. I was completely muted because I'm an idiot. So welcome to Universus, bringing you theories, news, and more. Win, lose, or draw. Now with audio. Well, freshman systematical.
Brand new feature.
Yeah, brand new feature. We kept the smell of vision off. You really don't want that. Cameron's back after missing out from the quiz and is catching up on the quiz on YouTube. And fresh from the sickbed of the training post where everybody has been ill apparently, we have the leader Sidar. And how are you guys doing? I hear you've got a brand new setup of a trading post with multiple cameras and studios.
Yeah, no, doing well. Happy New Year's to both of you, of course. Really excited for the start of 2026. We have a bunch of construction on our store being done, so we have a temporary studio set up for the grind going into Worlds, and multiple cameras and point of view cameras set up for when we do testing and other content. And we have folks visiting next week from the MGLA, so we're hoping to do some content with them. But yeah, in the interim, because it's 2 degrees outside and I didn't want to leave my house, I didn't go to the studio to record this, and I'm in my bedroom right now. So I apologize, Brett. But yeah, we're really excited to get some content going for the new year and a lot of great topics to talk about.
Oh, exactly, and you'll even have some more content to record and talk about because you're coming over to Spain for one of their community training weekends as well.
That's right. So I've been talking, met a bunch of the folks from the Warning team in the Glasgow regional, and we were talking about the evolution that led to their regional last year, which was the fact that they hold kind of a festival twice a year where they do other games, but the primary one is Universus, and they play a massive tournament at the end of January and sometime in August. And so I know the team can't make it out there, but I wanted to show some support. And I think what they're doing with Heroic is really great. It livens up the game. It's accessible. Everyone has MHA1 cards. You can go find them for dirt cheap, right? And so having that as part of their kind of modern format, for lack of a better term, I think is really impressive and really successful. And I'm hoping it's stuff we can bring here to the States.
The Spanish community is absolutely amazing. I was speaking with Kevin and Barker over the last few weeks. Great to see them. They did a draft with the Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers and Soul Calibur Libra packs I sent over to them. So they've been having a lot of fun with that, and they've just got a genuine love of the game. So
those are 2 wild packs to be drafting with.
Very much so.
Holy crap.
Today we're generally here to just talk about what we want from Universus in 2026, what we're expecting, and just what as players we want from ourselves, from our events, and from the company. And the best way I would say to start this is I asked Paul what they want from the company. I'm probably going to get shouted out from Matt because he keeps asking me not to message Paul, but literally, I think it was New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I messaged Paul just saying, I'm asking the community what they want for 2026 and what's UVS going to be doing. And he responded with, our product roadmap is locked in throughout 2026 and 2027. 2028 is being mapped up as well. He's genuinely excited about what we've got ahead with future IPs they're building towards. While the team and the company have grown significantly over the past year, we haven't always delivered a fully consistent experience for Universus. We began laying the foundations last year. Our focus moving continues to be on delivering a consistent experience across product, organized play, and fan touch points. Levi is now leading organized play for Universus, and I'm excited about the direction he's taking it. At the same time, our core game design team continues to set the stage. Our first team in-person meeting is entirely Universus focused, so feedback will be valuable. So what do the people want to see? And
and of course you linked him to this video. Or should we just expect him to just pop into the chat eventually? Because I don't have the chat up or anything.
Yeah, Paul might pop into the chat. Paul might just pop into Discord. Paul is very active in the community. If you watch a lot of Tam streams, he likes to hang out in Tam streams quite a lot, and he is an avid supporter of the community. It's one of the great things we have about the UVS Games is even the higher ups of the company will interact with any member of the community because they have a genuine love of the game.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I bothered like Guile or Matlock on Discord, and half the time I'll ask one of them and be like, "Hey, who do I bother today?" And they'll either answer my question or they'll send me to the other one. It's hilarious, but yeah, they're all really good people and really, it's really cool that they actually deign to deal with us directly.
So before I ask the question to you guys as to what you expect for 2026, I put the responses I got from Facebook up on the screen. I blurred out everyone's names apart from Mark Tyner's because he says his goal for 2026 is to play with himself, and if I left that blank, that just seems really weird.
Honestly, Mark Tyner is, if I was going to Worlds, one of the decks I was looking into. I know I said I had it narrowed down, but now that we've got King of Fighters coming out, that kind of shifted everything for me. And Mark Tyner, I built, I think, off Evil, and man, that dude controls the board really well.
So, yeah, that leads into the question. We'll start off with Cam, and then we'll get to yourself, Sadia. What do you want as a player in 2026?
As a player, I would love to get more players locally. I would absolutely adore growing my field here, which is something to say, obviously, for having done this for years now. But I am slated to be working a convention in summer, possibly sometime if the owner of the convention gets back to me. They want me demoing all 4 days for Universus, so hopefully I'll be able to get the word out there. But yeah, I really want more people to play with. So I think as long as I can get that and then have more people to teach and just kind of grow the community writ large, I think that's the number one thing I want for this year.
That makes a lot of sense to myself. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think the answer that I would give, and the word that comes to mind is consistency. Right. I think I actually like the direction of the changes that they've implemented. For instance, think Levi is a great person to put in charge of organized play. He's a former player, commentator, clear passion for and pulse of the community, and has done stuff within, you know, his control to start to formulate and recreate an organized play structure that fits the mold of traditional organized play. LCs that get to 40 plus people, incentives to travel to regionals, prizing to match and to boot. Were there hiccups on the way? For sure, right? I'm not going to deny any of those things. But fundamentally, I think they're going in the right direction. Even from a design perspective, the last two sets with Guilty Gear and King of Fighters, right? The amount of tech pieces that they've put in there to combat the meta and give tools to get that more tit for tat, counterplay gameplay style has never been more abundant and useful. You may not get the characters or the bangers in that way, but just from keeping the gameplay functional and adding more tools to make more, decks viable, I think that's a great addition, right? I like the fact that they've organized around the how many sets that they want to create and how much is the right amount of product that is keeping people excited, but also not flooding and creating problems and balancing within the market, right? I love that they're consolidating down the LCs. Like, I think to make organized play better, and one of the missions that I've undertaken this year has been within a 500-mile radius going to every LC that's there. I've been telling people you got to register your LCs. Like, it looks like they're not firing, but then the next day I see six people there. How is that supposed to appear to a new player or someone not within the system? Like, how do we go fix and tighten so that if I see an event, I know it's going to fire. I know that I'm going to get a good play experience from it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I like a lot of the things that they're doing. I just want to see consistency with sticking to their guns, or sticking to their plan, and continuing to invest there and accelerate, because I do think it's a lot of the right answers may not have been implemented the best way, may not have been messaged the best way, but I think fundamentally to get the game to a healthy state, to get organized play to a healthy state, to have locals that still fire 12 to 16. I tell the Spaniards, you're my gold standard, right? If I can get a floor of 16 players, and a ceiling of 30, I would have to pinch myself. I would think I was dreaming, right? And so I that's what I would love to see for 2026.
No, that's a very good way of putting it. It's something I've been saying for the last couple of years. A kind of star first, local gaming first approach would be absolutely amazing. Working on building up that local play experience so you can go from 4 players to 16 players, because this is possibly the most fun game out there, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have a lot of fun with Riftbound and Magic and things like that, but interaction wise, the way that games can kind of swing on a pinhead, Universes is completely unique in that. And when you see people playing this game and having fun and like the kind of almost dramatic conclusions our games can have, people want to get involved. It seems to be that between the new player and the competitive player leveling is where we start to lose people. So yeah, if we can get more focus on supporting local play, onboarding players, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I think. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Cam.
No, you
Well,
you go ahead. You're the guest.
no, I was just gonna say I think there are two things, and this is something I've talked to a lot of locals. Right, I've talked to Dean, I've talked to Nick out in Milwaukee, Dean out in New York. Right, like what do you need as a community to grow your locals? Right, and we've done this with other games, like people on my team, like with Cookie Run, with Digimon. Right, the most important thing to grow a local scene is consistency. You need to show that come hell or high water, you are going to fire every week so that people don't feel like they're investing in something that may just go away, right? They're
Yeah.
investing in something that looks like fun, that consistently has fun, that looks like it has store support. And that takes a lot of effort, right? And the right pricing structure is different from game to game, right? Like Fab has the prize pack with the one card in it that works for them. Promo packs have been a big hit, in other games and started to make a comeback here. There are different ways to tackle and approach this, but fundamentally, to grow a locals, you need to show that you're going to have 4 to 6 people every week, no matter what, right? There's no off days, no off weeks, and if that means people from the store playing, if it means other people substituting until you get enough people to go there, I think you're going to run into those problems. And so, what we've been doing with all the locals is, tell us what you need to consistently fire, or tell us what you need to entice, people to come by, and then set goals, right? Like, you, I want to grow my average, attendance by 2 people, in 6 months' time, and like measure yourself by that. Or if not, you're just kind of throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it sticks, right? And
Yeah.
so I think targeted approach and very intentional actions, but consistency is really what matters. And so that's why we've been making a huge push towards creating interstitial fabric between these communities, right? To support each other and, create bigger events at larger scale, because success breeds success, right? When people see 12 people playing a fun game every week, it's just natural to be like, hey, what's going on? Like, that's how I got into the game, right? I played Warhammer every week and I saw these guys come hell or high water, 6 people in the back playing this game of a bunch of random cards. I had no idea what they were doing. And it got me curious because I saw it every week, and 10 weeks in, finally I was like, hey, what is this? Right? I play Magic. What the heck is this? And the guy was like, hey, funny you say, here's a demo deck, comes it down, let's play. Right. Rest is history. And so it's hard. There's no easy answers. I wish there was easy answers, right? There isn't. Small card games, it's hard. And so you have to show people that it's going to be there, that that community is going to be there, that the card game is going to be there for people to make that investment.
Makes a lot of sense. My biggest issue that I've heard from a lot of players is in terms of negative play experience. And it's one of the things that I don't know how to advise the star owners or the players that are coming at me with it, because I've been on the other end of it. I've been the negative play experience when I played Keyforge and things like that. But for example, let's go look at Riftbound for a second, and you've got all these local level Nexus Night events where now out in China, Darius is completely destroying them, and in the Western, where we're waiting for Spirit Forge, you've got Kaiser who's completely dominating. And people are reporting having a negative local play experience because they turn up and all they're facing is the highest meta deck. They're not able to just have fun and play the game. And if you've got 4 players there, it's very easy for one of them to kind of get into this pattern of winning every single week.
Yeah, I mean, you have to coach your community, right? Like, I look, Riftbound has other problems. There's
Yeah.
product availability, like the fact that you can't even register for tournaments, right? Like, I think it's a different set of problems and different sets of challenges. I think for small games, you have to have a community and you have to have an understanding with your community that there will be events and prizing that will make it worth your while to play competitively. But it's a social contract. Like, I need you to also come to events where you're not going to be as sweaty and you're going to play and understand that it's about growing the community because like, I'm sorry, people don't want to get their face pounded in. You need to ratchet up the difficulty and learn to put a proper learning curve. And I'm not saying baby people. Like, I don't think any person who's coming to play Universes is probably a person that needs to be babied, right? But I do think if Phil Birch and Mitchell Chimino just kicked my living teeth in every game and didn't even give me enough actions to learn, right? Or understand why I was getting my teeth kicked in, that would be frustrating.
Yeah.
But like they understood what was the right balance and they were like, okay, like let the guy play 5 turns before I kill him, right? Like so that he can take some actions and learn from it, right? And so I do think you need to coach your people. Like, and I tell that to the people at our locals. I'm like, look, like when there's a new player, you have to play down to that level, right? Like there are other opportunities. We're gonna have tournaments and circuits and prizing for you to get sweaty. Um, Locals is not the time to do it. And to be frank, Brett, like I said, I've done a tour of about 20 locals. There are 20 locals in the country, which is crazy. But one thing I have noticed is that I think we overestimate that kind of negative play experience, and we overestimate the loudness of the people who are commuting, the complaining in the community. Because when I was talking to Sam about the webcam, and he was like, "I'm posting everywhere. How do we get more people to attend?" When I went to these locals, and I realized all the Discord channels, like your channel, like the official UVS channel, the Let's Play UVS, like all the Ace Maneuvers channel, Tam's channel on Discord, right? When I went to these locals, it turned out like only 30 to 40% of the people who participated in locals were in any of these discords. So there's a large swath of people that are not being communicated to and are having a jolly old time at their discords that we are just not keenly aware of or not providing access or getting connections to. And that was part of the reason why I did this tour was to find out who are the champions who are connected to these communities who are part of these discords and like how do we like figure out how to get those people engaged? How do we get those people to come out to an event? How do we get those people to play in these other formats and types of things that we want to engage with the community because we're not reaching out to them, right? Like, and that was the most eye opening experience for me doing all of this was like, holy shit, we're not talking to like half the people, right?
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you get a lot of engagement on Reddit, but the main issue is with Reddit, you don't want to overstimulate it with content because people are also asking their questions and legitimately trying to get answers. And if you just, especially for someone like myself who posts now every single day, if I'm throwing out there, oh, come check out why Ghidorah's no longer playable, it's like, yeah, but I also want to know this rules interaction. It's like, cool. I don't post it there as often, but it was more around Star Scrambles that were meant to be that new player-friendly environment, and the new level of Star Scrambles start next week. And one person in the main Discord put on there going, "Oh, what are the promos? I need to know how hard I'm going to try." And I was like, "This isn't meant to be a new player-friendly event where you come and you have fun and it's an onboarding event." And you've got people going to be like, "Yeah, but how sweaty do I need to be to get this prizing?" It's like, cool. That's not. It's not
Yeah,
doing
Brett, but like, can you tell me one new player that attended a store scramble that you are aware of?
I don't have any stores in my area that play the game, so I couldn't do any of it.
I've never met a single new person that attended a store scramble as their first event or their introduction to Universus. Like, I think it was a flawed concept to begin with.
It's a good concept if you can get frequent newer players, and I think the fact that this game does struggle to get newer players kind of hooked in. All of my store scrambles were just basic normal tournaments for us. They were just our locals because we didn't have anyone new, so we all just played. But if we did have someone new, our theory is we always have one deck on us at all times that can be new player friendly, so that if we do have someone new, we can use the new player friendly deck and kind of play down to their level, and then we swap decks to beat each other's face in so they can get a view of like how the other side lives. We've had several people, that we play, and we go like one game takes about an hour because we're explaining all the interactions and stuff, and then we'll get paired into the next person. And they're like, "All right, let me see how this game's actually played," and they'll just be in awe of how fast we're moving and thinking and how hard we're playing, and it's really cool. But I do agree that it is a community policing thing. We have to kind of control our own and be like, "All right, now don't bully the new people, let them play," and just do all that.
Yeah.
But another thing that would be really good for consistency is if they could get their products out on time, because our main store still doesn't have the don't 6-7 me, Brett.
Yeah, it's more. It's more. UVS doesn't control what political oranges do.
True, but I'm talking about like here in America, where we still don't have the Guilty Gear promo packs like for the weekly tournament, and one of my stores still hasn't gotten any Guilty Gear product. Which I do
Brett,
think
and there are other
issue.
TCG games that have made their shipment dates, and even Riftbound, their own other distributor has made like shipment dates. So like, I will say like I'll cut them a little bit of slack, but
yeah.
Like the store that I have that doesn't have any Guilty Gear stuff, I'm really willing to bet that's a store issue, and maybe someone just didn't order what they said they ordered. But if Guilty Gear's been out since November and we still don't have the weekly play packs for Guilty Gear, and my store's running out of their backup of like older promos that they were giving out, so we're getting stuff from like Turtles and like I think we're even getting some Critical Role stuff that they just had an overstock of, but they're like we still don't know, and we haven't gotten any word from anyone yet. And I get that they've been on vacation for like 2 weeks, but
it's one of the things that Patriot Games, like the biggest store in the UK, had an issue with. When they run out of promos, when they haven't got anything to give the players for weekly events, they see a significant drop in numbers because other games exist and they have their weekly promos ready to go. So why wouldn't a player go play Riftbound or Gundam or Digimon or Pokemon or one of the other games that they're playing? Because there's not too many players anymore that only have one game that they play.
Yeah, not everyone's like me who can only afford one game in time and money and mind space.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm a one-trick horse.
The point of diminishing return is a lot lower than it used to be for, is it worth my time to go play there now?
Yeah, it just comes to a lot of like product availability in most cases, especially with newer games like Riftbound and like when Lorcana was getting started.
Yeah, I mean, Riftbound, like Cydia said, has had a lot of issues in itself, from issues with rarities, from the fact that their starter entry level products is one of the most desired products that they've put out there. It's it's been absolutely a bit crazy. But even the play packs themselves, I think you get 48 for a 3-month period, which is doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah,
3 months is
12 weeks. So
12,
you're
12 weeks.
giving
So
what,
four.
4 a week?
So you're expecting 4 people to show up for 12 weeks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
So,
not a lot.
no, if 16 people show up, but only 4 walk away with promos, it doesn't feel great when it used to be everyone gets a promo.
I
Yeah.
do wonder if the cynical side of me wonders if they looked at the numbers and they were like, we said exactly the number of promos you need for your local.
I would say that, but
Cam, if everyone got a promo at your local for 12 weeks, would you need more than 4 a week?
No,
Yeah.
because we have exactly 4 people.
But if you take into account like Patriot Games, because they run the webcam event and the weekly locals, they ended up running out like 6 weeks into the 12 weeks. And fair play to UVS, they got more promos sent out to them, but then they also sent another email going, "This is supposed to last you 3 months." It's like, yeah, it's cool that
Yeah,
they
but
do
we're
it that
getting
way.
people to play your game, so
Yeah. So it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of another. What
did
about
anyone hear a banging sound, or was that just me?
that was here. I think Robin might have
Okay.
dropped something. If they need me,
Okay, I was just making sure.
if they need me, they'll scream. What about personally as a player? What do you hope to achieve in 2026?
I already gave that answer because I misunderstood your first question.
It was a very open-ended question, so there's no misunderstanding of it.
Yeah, because you said, "What do I want?" and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I want to do this," and then our guest gave the whole, "Well, this is what I want
Yeah.
from the company." I'm like, "Oh, that's what we were supposed to answer."
Because
Damn.
like I said, you want more local players, which is
No, it's whatever you want personally.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want more local
Personally,
players.
I want to grow my community.
But do you have anything
Yeah.
you'd like to personally achieve? Like, would you like to get your face on cardboard? Would you like to top an event? Would you like to hit? Would you like to?
Oh,
Would you like
absolutely,
to
but I
get
don't think I'm
monetized
gonna
on
have that
YouTube?
opportunity this year. Do you know how far away I am from getting monetized on YouTube?
Probably not as far away as you
I'm
think, in honesty.
I still haven't broken 400 subs, so I'm pretty far from even doing the membership thing. But getting my face on cardboard, as much as I'd like to do that, I don't think that's going to be in the cards this year, just with a lot of things that are going on. But I would like to continue. I would like to be more consistent with my content creation. I know I've been I like overcorrected and then undercorrected, and I took a break, and it's been kind of weird. But I've got a new project that I'm working on that I'd like to get one done a month, one video a month for. And it's a lot of work, so it's going to require a lot of discipline on my part. So I'd like to see me be able to achieve that.
That makes no sense. And yourself to do?
Well, I think personally, we want to push a ton of content. We have a lot of plans. We brought on some editing help. We have a lot of ideas and collaborations that we want to do. So that's definitely a personal goal. The second personal goal, I would love to get this regional circuit off the ground here in the States. We've been working pretty hard with different communities to figure out how can we get a tournament that rewards UVS players for playing the game and give them rewards and opportunities that are worth their while at the same time promoting things that we believe in, potentially like heroic and teams, and looking for opportunities to get that going probably in the April-May timeframe, along with the opening of our store. So um, from a competitive standpoint, I would love to win a game in top cuts, I guess. So I made a top cut, which is nice. Progressively have gotten better performance, tournament after tournament. I think it'd be cool to take the next step and get a top cut victory and add that to the accomplishment list.
No, that's a fairly reasonable thing to want, is to just get another game in the top cuts. There's been a few people on Facebook that were just saying they'd like to get their face on cardboard. Someone wants to be a back-to-back winner of Worlds, which, because technically in 2026 we have 2 World Championships, one in February for last year and one in November for this year. Yeah, so wants to.
It's a pretty large goal, but I mean, if you're going to shoot for the stars,
Yeah,
So wants to win an
I would love to be a Jaegerist follower. You know, that's my dream.
So wants
I
to
can
win
egotistically put 10 of myself in doing that. You know.
yeah, I want to do 9. I want to be on 9 Titans throughout the ages and say I was good enough to get banned.
Yeah, I love that.
Someone wants to win an LC as overhaul. I want to be a shift attack because in the history of the game, no one's ever been an attack. And I think shift attack should count, because if you go to UGN and you look at backups, shift attacks come up. So technically, it should count.
Are they only going to put you on the backup side?
Yes.
That would be hilarious.
No one ever sees you because they don't transform, Brett. How's that going to make you feel, man?
Yeah, that's why I would pick something like Igris, which everybody just wants transformed.
Okay, that's fair.
But there's a lot of people like yourself, Cam, that want to grow their communities. There's a lot of people that want a lot more consistency from the company. And like yourself, response on playing other people were just talking about wanting a positive record at major events or just to do well at events. There's even a few people to say they want to complete their Guilty Gear or My Hero Academia sets. Over here, we're in a bit of a weird situation because our organized play of the year is just Star Championship. So it's a little bit weird. I know Sean is trying and get a community event off the ground. And as we mentioned at the start, Spain have got their 1, 2, 3 time a year community events. And I know the Dobbers are going over there this year at the end of January to take part in the Team Warning community event. So the name of the game over here is growing the local community, trying to show we can get, showing that we deserve our regionals back, that we have the players to get the regionals back, and hopefully retain a lot of players. Because although I didn't put them on here, there are a lot of people that are not happy or are leaving the game because of OP, and it sucks. But it's very understandable that if we don't get organized play support in the middle of the biggest TCG bubble since the 90s, people will find other things to play.
It does definitely feel in a way that they're asking you to invest in their game for no reason. Yeah. Yes, it's a very fun game to play, but at the end of the day, you are paying money to get these cards, and unless you're a collector, you want to do something with them. So if you don't have very many stores nearby that play, or you don't have any regionals you can attend, it's kind of like, all right, I'm just not gonna do this anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
that really sucks. But you know what might help us get some big bang on community boost? Did you guys hear about what happened at a One Piece tournament recently?
Oh, you mean that's the live action Zoro top cut?
The live action Zoro actually top cut a 360 person regional. So Brett, you talk to voice actors and stuff. We need to get some voice actors that have voiced characters in our game to start top cutting us and our.
You're confusing me with Team Combat Power. I don't talk to voice actors. I message them into the void and never get anything back. What you want is
well, you need to step up your game.
What you need is Team Combat Power out in Texas, who are down the road from the Crunchyroll studios and have a massive binder of signed cards from Crunchyroll actors. So they're the people.
They need to step up their game and get the voice actors to play in our events, even if it's just hey, we have a regional coming up. Let's get. Oh, you're gonna hate me. Sung Jin Woo's actor. Alex something.
Alex Lee.
Lee, okay. Let's get him to just play Sungjin Woo deck as a side event and just run games and talk to people.
No,
for
we'll
like
just give him
3 hours.
Devil Gin and let him top cut.
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
And hey, if they need like a personal UVS trainer, I'm your man.
but we already know that Liam O'Brien and Matt Mercer play the game. And I think if we let Sam Riegel know that Trinket's in the game and you can kill Trinket with asset destruction, he'd happily pick up the game because that man has an unhealthy obsession with destroying that bear.
So I'm just saying, if we can get like, trust me, if I ever go to an event where I can get like a card signed, I will definitely start making pitches. I will stand in line and be like, hey, listen,
Well,
I know you don't know me, but I can make sure that you make even more money.
Hey, if you want to see it, I think Ty's House of Cards does have a video from Worlds 2022 where he played Universus with Denki Kaminari's voice actor, Kyle Phillips. I know when Zeno Robinson was there for Worlds 2023, I asked him if he wanted to play. Like, I got him to sign a lot of stuff and record videos for me. He was really cool about it. But a lot of time they just don't have the time. They're kind of there to make money. When it comes to events.
And that's why you offer them the money to be like a side event, like I'm sad to say, a sideshow, and then you send them to some experts in the game to get some training. And even if we're just explaining what the deck they're going to be running does, and like, hey, this is just kind of the ins and outs of the game, and this is what you want to do, just enough to get them to have fun and interact with the community, I bet you we would get a whole lot of draw. They could still sign autographs for cash. They could still do like stuff like that. Because if we want to have more stuff to make these big regionals more like festivals, I think that would be a really cool way to go about it. And if these people end up enjoying our game, maybe we could have a Zoro moment where top 8 is Alex Lee playing Sungjin Woo and just wrecking face because people can't believe that he's just saying Arise every other turn.
The live action Zoro though wasn't playing Zoro.
See, I didn't know that. I just watched the headline. I was like,
he was playing a meta deck that was also pimped out to hell. He had like the highest rarity of every single card. Multiple copies of them.
These voice actors have money, and we can tell them what the meta looks like. We can work things out. Just message me on Discord. I'll be quick about it.
Honestly, if we want to grow at a local level and have that kind of fun, casual experience, things like the 3v3 format, people have latched onto that immediately. It seems like a lot of fun. It's a very casual thing. But also PvE. PvE has been a huge thing. Like, we have the Patriot webcam event, and in November, it was kind of dipping, and there was only 2 or 3 people showing up. And then we did the Wedding Crasher PvE, and we had 8 people show up. So we had to separate into 2 separate pods, because Sean was like, I'm not...
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, because Sean was like, I'm not doing an 8-person game. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'll DM the second one, just hand it over, but don't give me the second sheet until we need it, kind of thing, because it was meant to be a big surprise. But following on from that, if we had, say, Matt Mercer or other content creator DMs coming in doing PvE and other things like that, that'd be absolutely huge, because at Albuquerque, I did on the Sunday, because I didn't top, I sat there for the entire time and I DM'd PvE for the entirety of the Sunday, and people had a lot of fun. The same, like, 3 people sat there and played for like 2 hours, so they could just have the experience of like pseudo D&D kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea too. The only issue I have with PvE is it's such a different way to play the game that I feel like it's hard to use that as like an introductory, like, yeah, you have people there to help guide you through how to play and stuff. So it kind of gets some of the rules down, but it's such a different way to play than the regular game that if people really like PvE and that's what they start with, they may not want to play the main game after that. If they're like, nah, this is too hard, I'll just do the PvE stuff.
I mean, it covers the basics of the game. You get to make your check, you get to play your deck the way it wants to play, you get to do your enhances, The way you're playing is the exact same as it would be in the regular game, apart from when you get to do your one hands. And all you need to worry about during your opponent's retaliation is, can I block this? It's kind of a better way because you're not having to worry about what your opponent's enhances are. You're not having to worry about blitzes or responses. You're just going, cool, this is the attack, this is its speed. Can I deal with it? It's kind of slimming down the interaction that you get from your opponent and going, do you enjoy this game the way you're playing it, and stopping your opponent from killing you? And then going, well, yeah, now think about it, if your opponent was also doing the same things you were doing back to them. It's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. So I think it does cover a lot more of the game and its interactions than the demo kits, which seem almost too basic. The demo kits are like for someone who's never touched a TCG before, but PvE...
That and they're scripted so that one side always wins, so it's kind of... Yeah.
But to me,
trust me, I've had my own gripes with the new demo. I always start with, I have to read from this book, and I hate that it has to tell me what to do. Like, I've never done a demo before, and that joke usually lands for new players.
Well, PvE would be a good way to get Riftbound players who are already expecting to see boss battles, or Star Realms players, MTG
broke
players.
Because they spent $5,000 on all their Riftbound cards.
Yeah, but if
they're broke, they don't have any money.
The people are already playing TCGs. It's a good way for them to come and look and get their transferable skills, knowing they're coming in at kind of like an already intermediate level, and seeing what this game has to offer. Because in terms of resources, in terms of play experience, in terms of feel-good moments, like, what Magic player wouldn't hear, oh yeah, you get to draw 5-6 cards a turn, and just go, excuse me, what the fuck, what did you say?
Yeah, that is one of my go-tos for talking to Magic players. That, and I say, we have lands, but unlike yours, ours do shit. And you get to draw more than one card a turn, and they're like, go on. And then by the end of the demo, they're like, yeah, but I've already invested like $40,000 in Magic cards. I'm like, you son of...
No one's asking them to make this their primary game. No one's asking them to...
Like, I tell them, sell your stuff, buy a car. I will give you a deck for free to start with. So,
but no, it's something...
I've put so much money and cards into like newer players over the years, and it's rough to try to start, especially from scratch with a brand new game.
Well, it's something I hadn't even considered, but last year I did an interview with Zadir and Alex, and you kind of opened my eyes to it, that we shouldn't be appealing this game to people who have never touched a TCG before. That is what the IPs do. The IPs bring in people who are fans of that, and they come in, and that's where there's... As players, we have a profound understanding of what TCG players look for in a game. And if we go up to a Digimon player, a Magic player, a Star Wars Limited player, we can go, oh yeah, you don't like the resource system in your game? Come check out Universus. The resources are literally built into your deck. You don't like the fact that your opponent can completely stomp over you with their strategy? Cool. We have actions and assets that can give you the interaction you're lacking in your game. You don't like being land
You don't like playing where they've set up for 10 minutes on turn 1 and create an unbreakable wall that you can't do, so why are you even playing this stupid fucking game anymore? Can't do that in our game, so...
Yeah. I think the only big thing...
I just spent a few hours on Master Duel, if you couldn't tell.
The only big thing we're missing compared to, say, Magic is a Commander-style format. A big multiplayer format that people can just play casually and have fun, because as far as my understanding goes, because I've not touched a Magic card in like 10 years, Standard isn't the premier format anymore. It's Commander, and even Commander's got a little bit competitive, but it's the fact that you can have those cool interactions, you get to have fun with your friends, and people, all the content I see on TikTok and YouTube is kind of around Commander. And it's what my hope for 3v3 would be is that we get this more casual way to play with people that could also open up multiplayer play where people can just have fun.
Problem with 3v3, hour-long games. That's a bit of a big ask.
Cam, have you ever played against Khan in Commander? A 1 hour game is nothing in Commander.
No, I don't play Magic. I play good
Yeah,
games.
but Commander again is something that organically happened. It
Yes.
was unpredictable. It's something that they've now fully invested in. It is their number one moneymaker. Standard fell even below modern, and has gone into disrepair with the number of sets that are being produced, the lack of balance, and the fact that cards are being produced for Commander, right, and not balanced necessarily for Standard because Commander sells. And so, but here's the thing, right? Like, no other game has replicated Commander. Like, Commander is not something that's to be replicated. It is the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Like, people don't play Commander because it's my favorite game or whatever. It's the default, right? Like, when I go play cards with my friends, and even between universes rounds or even between other card games, the default game for people to hang out and play is Commander. And it's because it is a social game that is meant to be to hang out and chat with your
Yeah.
friends, right? That's why I actually think Commander isn't that successful or very fun at the LGS when you're playing with randos because you don't have that opportunity for rule zero or what the expectation is or which decks are finely tuned to play against each other to create an optimal play experience. And it kind of falls flat, right? So I actually think Commander pushes people away from the LGSs, ironically. And really, where Commander shines is when you're playing with your home pods or the people that you already enjoy playing Commander with, right? Like, I've
Yeah.
never gone into an LGS and been like, wow, playing Commander with three randos was a really great time, Like,
I
um,
I have, but I do get where you're coming from. So when I moved down south, I was still a Magic player, and I tried to play down here, but the vibes were off. It's like you said, I didn't gel with what they were. But there was a couple of people, and when I played at like LCQs, like the big events, jumping into random commander pods was fun because everyone didn't know each other. But if you're the new person at a pod where everyone already knows each other, you can feel kind of like an outsider. You can get weird vibes. The reason I dropped Magic is exactly what you're saying. That is, I missed my homies. I missed my friends. When I was working up north, on my days off, I'd get up. We get up in the morning, go to my LGS, and I would sit in there from open till close, playing Magic with my friends and the store owner, and she's the one that kind of got me in love with TCGs, and I really wish she was still with us to see where I am now, kind of with TCGs. But I 100% agree. Commander, it was an organic kind of thing, and it is best when you get to riff with your friends that you know, and you get to have the inside jokes and the inside plays, and it's not a cutthroat political thing. It's a casual, fun thing where you let the people do the cool stuff because they're your friends and you want to see their deck pop off.
you can't force these things,
No.
right? And even Riftbound, right? They designed with multiplayer in mind. And Riftbound has taken off and been like gangbusters, but I haven't heard anyone in the zeitgeist speaking of Riftbound multiplayer
No.
nor care about it, right? And so, like, they want that. They know that competitive play. The problem with trying to base your money off of competitive play is that it is really hard to grow exponentially and bring people in with competition in mind, right? And so then you get into collectability, then you get into casual play, you get into all these other things to expand your base. That's why Fab is never going to grow beyond where Fab is, right? Like, they're happy with it. They're at the level that they want to be at. They're not going to grow Magic exponential levels because there
No.
isn't like, there's a popper Fab format. There's no real casual Fab play, right? I don't even
What is
think with
Fab?
Riftbound, Flesh and Blood. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've never played that, but I did have some people threaten to kidnap me and take me to a regional and teach me to play on the way. I'm like, that's not how
It's
you learn to play a game, guys.
yeah, it's really fun.
It's
It's really hard. I
it's very
actually think
similar
it's
to
harder
Universus, I
than
hear.
UVS.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pitch stacking, a lot of card counting that goes into it, which is interesting. But
Sounds miserable.
it can be, but it is rewarding when you get it down. But I guess my point is like it's hard to predict Fortnites. It's hard to
Yeah.
predict Minecrafts. It's hard to predict Magic Commander. it's hard to predict what is going to be the zeitgeist, because if we did, we'd all not be doing this and be on some island somewhere drinking Mai Tais, right? And
Yeah.
so, like, none of these things can be predicted to the extent that we want to be able to. And I think that's the same way with like the next multiplayer TCG format. I have no idea what is going to take the storm, and I think anyone who tells you they do probably is guessing. Let's say.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, Riftbound, prior to its release on the Discord, you'd see a lot of people playing 4-player games, and I was the TTS table was set up with 4 players in mind by Willow. Mad respect to Willow, worked so hard on that TTS table, and then post release, where like the competitive events are popping up and Nexus nights are coming up, and you're getting all the big major events. The multiplayer's kind of dropped off because everyone's kind of focused on I need to do well at the next event. Kratos is asking, will we see any more Critical Role sets in the future? I'm going to be 100% honest with you here. Post organized play reveals, Critical Role is the only reason I'm still playing this game. If we don't see anything from Critical Role in the next 2 years, I'm out.
We need a Villains of Exandria set. Come on now.
They've got the playmats.
With...
Ultra Pro.
I don't care about playmats.
Ultra Pro
aren't
got the playmats out there.
I don't care. Playmats aren't cards. You've teased me. They teased me with the box toppers and like all the cool designs for these. Give me those as playable characters. I want to play as Lorenzo and mess up people's foundations and just make people's lives miserable.
I mean,
at least not new players.
They have symbols. You could just go and make the character yourself. You just go make the deck and play Lorenzo. As long as your locals are okay with it. Look, do you know how the Spanish started with Heroic? They did it before Heroic was even like a name thing. They just did it because their local store owner said, you want to play MHA1, I understand that, you play MHA1. If this is what it takes to get people to continue playing the game in the store, go nuts. It's not for points, not for world points, it's for local play. You do what you want. So if you can talk your locals into letting you play Lorenzo at locals as a character with the decks, with the character symbols, UVS don't police locals. Go nuts.
Okay, telling me to go nuts is probably not the best and most sound legal advice. But yeah, let's just say there might be some things in the works for the UVS Hermit YouTube channel where that might be a thing coming up.
It's something I've wanted to do, but I just keep forgetting to do it. Just seeing if I can put you rather than have ability to face at the end of your at the start of your turn, at the end of your turn, you just roll the activation dice.
That's kind of funny.
I really want to see more Critical Role. I'm very excited for Fairy Tail, but it's a.
Does that mean I need another show to understand what's going on?
Well, no, because this is a manga, so you got to read the manga. Because the show, to put it bluntly, I'm gonna be very blunt today. The show is a lot more horny than the manga is.
That's fine. It'll take me a lot less time and money to watch the manga, or to watch the anime, than it would be to read the manga.
That's fair. But I like the Fairy Tail manga. I like the Rave Master more, but the World Connected Stories. I think this year is going to be very good IP wise. We've got King of Fighters, then we go straight into Godzilla. I'm part of the Godzilla Reddit subreddit and Facebook groups. They post about the card games a lot, and a lot of them are very excited for Reign of Kaiju. They're very excited for the challenges. I'm just hoping that we can get a few of these collectors over to playing.
Same.
Tekken and Street Fighter Part 2 I think are going to be really cool. I think this is a stacked list of IPs, even if personally there's only 2 I really care about, which is probably My Hero and Fairy Tail.
Quick question though. I know you said Paul said that their product list for 2026 was set.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to see any surprises for 2026, given it's the 20th anniversary of the game?
Okay, so before this, I've literally just recorded a video on this. So for people that are watching this and watch it back, yes, I think this is going to be the case because of what else is celebrating an anniversary this year. August 2nd, 2006 was the release date of the Fairy Tail manga. And as we saw with Critical Role, when they had their 10 years, they lined up the set to go with the start of the campaign, where they released the set March 5th, March 6th, 10th around that time, and Critical Role started March 12th, 2015. So with Fairy Tail being 20 years old in August, it would make sense for the set to drop in August of this year, which leaves us with 4 months where we have nothing in there. And to me, the biggest thing they could throw into the second half of this year, where they've got no regionals, no points on the line, nothing like that, would be a 20-year retro reprint set with the champ cards and some of the more hard to get hold of cards in there, like a Blitz box or a experience bundle, or just a set of retro cards celebrating the 20 years of Universus.
As amazing as that would be, I think the one issue you run into would be the IP licensing for a mix and match thing like that. They'd have to still hold some of those IPs unless they did like original art and stuff.
Unless they pulled a Magic
Online
Online Spider-Man where they reworked the art. Yeah, you immediately got that. Where they basically Magic, when they did the Spider-Man set, Magic didn't get secured the digital rights. It's believed. So when they put to MTG Arena, they had to release a whole independent set, but with cards that had the exact same abilities as the Spider-Man ability cards. So that's what they could do here. They could take moments from the last 20 years and they could put it into the cards. They could have the Waffle House finals. They could have the Turbo Car competition, and they could put it into the art of cards that gets reprinted.
Yeah, and actually one thing that I know I've heard Tim Keefe talk about this a lot is they need an IP-less, like totally original style of art or set creation. Not necessarily for a set, but you could do promo reprints for like the store and stuff like that. And then you wouldn't have to worry too much about IPs and stuff. And I think that'd be a really cool way to do reprints and experience stuff.
I know Cody's probably going to kill me for this, but I don't think Red Horizon should have been a thing. I don't think Universus should have its own IP. I don't think it should be essentially following the Magic product line.
I don't mean necessarily like its own IP, but just reprint with like their own art. Let the art team go wild and go crazy with some of these reprints, or like their own IP. But you could do stuff like
so like the core Magic sets where they would reprint cards, or they would create a core set that was basically a bunch of cards that were staples or evergreen cards that they needed to have in the set because they couldn't fit them into IPs. It sounds wonderful, but the issue is it detracts from what Universus is. We are a multi-IP fighting game, and the moment we start creating our own IPs, the moment that we start doing all that stuff ourselves, we get further away from what we are at our core. And I don't want that, personally. I don't want us to go, we can get, like the Thanos snap, we can do it ourselves thing. I would love to see them work reprints into future IPs. And with like the hybridization of attuned and non-attuned, we can do that more. Like we saw Special Forces Elite in Critical Role, which is a reprint from Mortal Kombat. We could see So we could definitely see some Tekken reprints in Tekken. We could see more ways to interact with pseudo reversals with Street Fighter. Fairy Tail could have some very cool tiebacks to Darkstalkers or other fantasy kind of IPs, but I don't think personally trying to like with how swamped UVS is, because you got to admit it's still a tiny company, and how stretched thin they are. The moment we start trying to create the IPs and the sets ourselves, the more pressure that puts on the company, and the more mistakes we're likely to see.
That's a fair argument.
Oh, you're muted here.
I was gonna say I'm uncertain about that, right? I think IPs, at least from my personal experience over the past year being a new player, I found the IP whole thing kind of interesting. All the sets that brought me into universes to begin with, like TMNT, right? I'm not an AOT person. I'm not an MHA person. Not a big anime person outside of Cowboy Bebop and that era of anime, right? Late 90s, early 2000s. So most of the stuff was out of my wheelhouse. The sets that I was excited about, though impactful, right, with Equipment Heist and Mutant Machine and Wingnuts and a whole bunch of defensive pieces. So when people say like, "Oh, Turtles was a bad set," I'm like, well, how you define bad?
Yeah.
It was definitely an impactful set, right?
I agree.
It is rough to look at.
I agree 100% with you there. I think TMNT is just underrated.
I think there's a lot of great cards in there, right? But it wasn't the set that like, or the characters, right? More importantly, that I wanted to play, which most people resonate with sets.
Yeah.
Whereas Guilty Gear, I'm not a fighting game person. I don't give two shits about Street Fighter or Guilty Gear. Last time I played a fighting game was Street Fighter 2 Turbo on my SNES, right? So we are old school in our fighting game ways. But it was one of my favorite sets, like the tools and the pieces that came with it, and the amount of toolbox items that I had to play with different characters was phenomenal, and I loved it. And so I think IPs pull people into the game. Gameplay and mechanics is what people stick around for. And
Yes.
so the sets that have stuck with me have been the sets that have given me more toys, more things to play with. And so going into 2026, to be honest, I don't think I'm as excited about the IPs. None of them really speak to me, but I am excited about the Challenger Series decks because I feel like the amount of goodness that they've been putting into each Challenger deck that has been useful cards within the meta, useful cards for a wide variety of characters, has been really impressive, right?
Yeah.
There isn't as much fat to trim out in the Challenger Series. So I think the MHA Challenger Series, the new Street Fighter Challenger Series. I'm really excited about those two.
Yeah, they often say that come for the IP, stay for the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they want to do. And that's why I think like having their own like pseudo IP, like I've often pitched like having different pantheons of like mythology in like a set universe as kind of a thing that they could do there to either bring in like some of the mythology heads that, I grew up loving mythology. I'm sure there were a bunch of nerds that like that too. But you could also just explore the worlds of different mythos, and that could be a universe that we add to Universus. And it would give them a way to play with having to reprint cards that were still meta relevant, not having to worry about IP specific stuff.
I
don't think Magic had to write a lot about Zeus.
Yeah.
Theros.
The main issue you get with that is, as they said, you get the Magic clone things of, oh, you want to do Norse mythology? Like, yeah, you're going to have to get through Pharaohs with the Greco-Roman Norse. Oh, you want to do European history? It's like, cool, you're going to have to get through Innistrad and Ravnica. Oh, you want to do Asian? Cool. Kamigawa's a thing. So it's like, Magic, you've kind of already done them all. And you get that South Park thing.
That doesn't mean we can't put our own spin on them.
No, but you don't want to incite
that's like saying
other
Magic
people.
got Avatar: The Last Airbender, so we should never do an Avatar: The Last Airbender set.
No, but
yeah, well, No one is making the comparisons between universes and Magic.
And honestly, I didn't
Magic
know
is
any
the
of that
G.
about Magic the Gathering sets being based off of different mythologies because I don't play
Oh,
Magic.
Oh
for
no.
sure. I mean, when you have 35 years of history, it's
Yeah.
hard not to touch upon a few mythoses. But I think, look, Magic trying to not do what Magic has done is almost an impossible task because when you've been around for 35 plus years, you've probably done it all, right? And you've
Yeah.
touched it all and, gone somewhere. And I don't think people are making those comparisons anymore because there's just so many TCG games in the market now,
And,
right?
It's the card game version of The Simpsons did it.
Yeah.
Connor raises a good point on the fact that that MTG's not scared to do it. We did Turtles first, and then they did it.
Yeah, exactly. And we did it better.
We
Even though
don't
their
know. We
cards are a
don't
little
know
bit
yet.
better to look at.
Their small team in T set doesn't come out for a few months. We don't know who did it better yet.
I will admit their cards are better to look at. I just don't like the art of this TMNT set. It is not for me. And I fully admit that I might be in the minority, but it hurts my eyes.
The MTG lands do take down like the overall quality a lot. The total lands are not great.
So just UVS Games, give me a mythology based like universe, and please, for the love of God, put HP Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos in there so I can have some eldritch horrors that I can unleash on people.
Is that public domain yet?
Yeah. Before he died, HP Lovecraft made his entire mythos and all of his books public domain so that other artists and authors could add to the mythos. And now you've got the Call of Cthulhu RPG game, which is kind of like D&D, but in my opinion, just better for what I like to do. It focuses more heavily on role playing than on like combat, and it's very mystery and horror based, and just everything I love. So yeah, it's all public domain, so you could absolutely go through that world of all these different eldritch horrors
Mickey Mouse
beings.
Cam, are we gonna do Mickey Mouse original 1930s?
No, but you know what? But you know what? If we got Kingdom Hearts, we possibly could put Mickey Mouse in from Kingdom Hearts. I don't know how that would work because it's still King Mickey, but
I think it's more that Steamboat Willie is in the public domain, like Winnie the Pooh. So if UVS wanted to be real dicks, they could make their next like demo decks be Steamboat Willie versus like book accurate Winnie the Pooh as their demo decks, and nobody could touch them. Which is why you've got all these horror movies out about like Winnie the Pooh.
I was about to say it'd be better than Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. That movie was fucking awful. It was so bad. The fact that it got a sequel boggles the mind, but I hear the sequel is actually better.
We don't. So Kratos.
Cam, I could have told you that was going to be terrible, Cam. The first we
watched it. We watched it intending to watch a bad movie, and we're still disappointed.
So Kratos, sorry you missed the answer, rough. But the answer is we hope there's more, and the primary reason I'm still here is because I want there to be more. But we're not UVS, we can't tell you for sure, but we know 2027, the roadmap is apparently done, and they're working on 2028 now, so hopefully there's something next year, but none of us here have access to that information.
And even if we did, we probably would be sworn to secrecy.
Yeah. I mean, there's loads of IPs I would love to get a hold of. I think, you see, how Lorcana hasn't touched it yet is absolutely insane to me, but the Muppets would just be an absolute get.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Because you could, because as long as you worked with Disney, you could Muppify any IP.
Okay, if you take it that way and use it, all right. If you use it as like a reskin kind of deal,
that's how you get your reprints, Cam. That's how you get your reprints. You Muppify them.
I'd much rather have Eldritch Horrors than the Muppets. If I'm going to be completely honest.
What about Muppet Eldritch Horrors?
Oh, I don't think you could find a puppet big enough.
This is Jim.
Haster technically is kind of like a puppeteer, so he could Muppetize people, but.
This is the Jim Henson Company. Do not underestimate what they can Muppify and what they can't.
I would never underestimate.
I mean, did you guys see the new trailer for?
Yeah, it's very Dark Crystal Labyrinth. Yeah,
it was incredible. I loved it. So if you're ever down in Atlanta, also they have the Jim Henson Muppet Museum. If you get a chance, Cam, I know it's a little bit further for you, Brett. It's phenomenal. They
I'm
have a
I'm
lot of the history and animatronics and everything.
I'm still
That's
considering
awesome.
driving 4 hours to go see the Wallace and Gromit Museum up north.
I used to love Wallace and Gromit when I was a kid. That's how old I am. I used to rent that VHS from Blockbuster all the time. We're just gonna date me here.
So since we're still talking 2026 and our hopes and our ideals for it, and like quick roles for that, what would make regionals an experience for you? I know, like Levi was talking about what making regionals an event. So, what would elevate a regionals from a local championship to an event that more like a experience event?
I think better prizing and support on the side events to get those firing, coordinating them so that people can attend them. I think Buffalo, they did a little bit of a better job here. I know Sean does a good job of running retro the night before sometimes and then running retro on the day of, knowing Sunday people have to skedaddle to the airport or leave early. It's hard for people to compete afterwards. So I think balancing, knowing that people want to play these other events, but making and giving them the opportunity to fit those in is important to me. I don't know. A lot of people love the artistry, panels, those types of experiences. I love to hear designers talk and interview. Um, the artistry stuff is not, again, because I'm not tied to any of the IPs. It's more curiosity to me and really cool to see other people excited about things they're passionate about. But I don't know, Cam. What do you think?
Honestly,
Artist.
I think it would be really cool to have like voice actor signings and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I know Legendary Wolf for Nationals a few years ago, when it was down in Texas, had
Okay.
yeah, I forget her name, Leia something,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I'm on bad terms with her, but that was a really cool idea that was poorly executed and not at all Legendary Wolf's fault. But it was something that I was excited for, and I think that could also be a really cool way to get more faces to the game if we spread the word like, hey, Matt Mercer's going to be here or Alex Lee's going to be here and they're going to do like a 2 or 3 hour autograph signing.
Mhm.
And then you could talk to them, you could talk to people who don't play the game and be like, hey, you can come meet this person. And hey, maybe we're also holding demos, right off like 20 yards that way, that
Yeah.
maybe they could be interested in learning to play this game that drew their favorite voice actor here. And maybe that's like a way that we could get more people in as well. And it would make it feel more like it would make it feel bigger
Yeah.
because we are a very small game and we feel very small. Like a lot of our side events and stuff are very community based, like the cosplay contests. Not knocking them. People do a really good job with that and they're braver than I am. But if we had more like big name kind of stuff, like headliner kind of stuff, I feel like it would help to elevate us in feeling like a bigger game, and maybe we could help become a bigger game by drawing more people to it.
Yeah,
Like
like
that.
at the first Worlds, the HLC, where we had Mount Lady, Eraserhead, and Denki there. Uh, the second Worlds,
Yeah.
where we had Zena Robinson. I think that would have brought in a lot more people if there hadn't been a MegaCon happening like down the road. But yeah,
Yeah, that is sometimes an issue. But like
uh,
I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time, and at a lot of their YCS championships, they would have the voice actors for characters there do an exhibition match where it was kind of scripted, obviously, and they would
yeah,
do it like in character, so it was kind of funny. So it would be kind of cool to see like uh Sam Riegel playing against Alex Lee or something, and they're playing in character as their characters for these universe clashes. And I think that'd be kind of neat if you wanted to script a duel like that, and then have them like sign autographs. Maybe they could do some, like if they knew how to play, do some pickup games and stuff, and just make it kind of a community event where they kind of feel like part of the community,
yeah. No,
and they could make a lot of money on the side.
That makes a lot of sense. The only vendor I saw with cards was GameStop, and that store's closing in 4 days. That sucks, Kratos.
There's been a lot of GameStops closing lately.
Yeah, I just got an
the one that I
email.
had my Digimon game saved at the mall shut down without any warning.
But no, quickly to just circle back to Sadia's comment on like side events. I mean, I don't play the Pokemon TCG. I don't collect the Pokemon TCG, but my son is very invested in it. He's got cards from all sorts of places. And I was watching a content creator called Purple Cliff, and they did a video not too long, like maybe a couple of years ago, where they went to a regional and they worked out they could make more money playing side events than the main event because of how loose Pokemon was with their event tickets. I think they said like every 3 events they did, they could walk away with a booster box. Are we too stingy with our prize wall tickets?
Maybe, but also because we're a smaller game and we have a smaller amount of stuff for the prize wall. Note how we keep running out of specific promos. I think if we had a more well-stocked prize wall, it might be a little bit easier to be less stingy, but the fact that we're only printing like a certain number, like 1 batch per regional, and then some of those cards just fly off the shelves, it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I think pricing could probably be improved. I definitely think that's something that we're focused on for 2026 is giving things that players want versus the leftovers of what's remaining, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and they've done a really good job. That Tyrant Rave promo was really cool from the last regional. Like giving useful cards that people play, I think is where I want the promos to go. It's great to get promos of some card that's going to go sit in the bottom of my bin because it's completely unusable in every format. That's not as fun, right?
But I mean, it's not even just the promos. The prize wars really kind of stepped up when Josh introduced it at Worlds last year, where we're now getting the uncut sheets. Everyone loves the uncut sheets. The symbol playmats, the TMNT deck boxes. Everyone absolutely loved the TMNT deck boxes. If we saw more stuff like that, like IP sleeves, IP deck boxes, where we use it because I make content with artists, and I was talking with Lachar, who did art for TMNT and Critical Role, and I showed him the TMNT demo because that's really cool. And it's like, I would absolutely love Lachar to actually get to go to an event and experience how much people love like the Critical Role alt-art SRs and the alt-art characters for TMNT, just how cool that would be. PvE Kratos would be absolutely cool, but I don't think they'll ever do a competitive PvE event. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, kind of like you'll never really see competitive 3v3 just because the best of one games can take an exorbitant amount of time.
No.
Did you find it very fun, by the way? I have not played a 3v3 game yet.
I have not, because my locals haven't had a very big means to yet, mainly because they're starting to buckle down for the worlds prep. So they're kind of a little bit more focused on that.
I've played one on TTS, and my opponent had to go like halfway through it, but we got to a very weird interaction where I was on 1 health, I drew my starting hand, and then I cycled, and I went,
"Oh, you die, don't you? You lose 2 health."
Yeah.
So, but I went, I die, and the current combat phase ends, but we're not in the combat phase yet.
No, I believe you lose the health at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Oh, so you lose at the end. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You lose 2 health at the end of the turn for each time you've cycled this game.
Oh, okay. So you just get. So I just get to play out my turn, and then I die.
And then you
die at the end of your turn. So you got to win before
you get Custer's last stand.
Oh, no, that would have been perfect for me because I was playing my horrific Joker Tabe Elder Toguro deck, and my opponent was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going to remove all your cards."
Gross.
I like it, especially when you're cycling and losing 2 health every time. That's a pretty viable strategy.
I'm playing the...
Yeah, can you imagine in retro 3v3 with like the mill-based trio? Or like, I'm just gonna keep making you mill 8 over and over and over, and you're just gonna
Well,
die.
what was the mill character that you Elizabeth, was it? Yeah, that
Elizabeth.
you did.
And she has 2 other people in that team. They both share all and death, so you can absolutely play gut
That
punch
was
in all 3 of them.
that was the previous King of Fighters set.
That was King of Fighters 13. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rulers of Time set. She commits after you play an attack to make your rival mill 8.
Because I know King of Fighters 13 and stuff like was also a big teams like lineup because you still had the 3 teams, and I know one of the teams events the Doncaster guys played Team K, and they all played the 3 characters from Team K. Removal in 3v3 seems awful. It's actually really good. The main issue is the TTS table isn't designed for 3v3, so when you cycle, it just goes, cool, I'm going to remove the top 10. It's like, no!
Put them back!
But no.
Yeah, no. That's really the core of like a lot of the King of Fighters sets is they had the 3 characters on each team that shared 2 symbols among them, kind of like the challengers do now.
Yeah.
And they all had like a specific theme they tried to move around, and I'm glad they're bringing that back.
Yeah. There's someone suggested in Discord, and it's something I'd really love to try out, is someone wanted to find out who was stronger, the Godzilla 3 or the King of Fighters 3. Because the Godzilla and Ghidorah decks also came with 3 characters that all share a symbol.
That's
True.
right.
You'd probably have to just play them straight out the deck.
You play them straight out of the box, and I think you'd also have to un-errata combined firepower to work with the other 2 characters. You couldn't just have it as King Ghidorah only, because that would kind of nerf the entire deck.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, but they still have Godzilla.
Yeah, they still have Big Zilla.
But with Ghidorah, it would be Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and Rodan. And that seems like Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Rodan with combined firepower. But only 2 of them. Still seems really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, until Rodan and Mechagodzilla, until that deck just mills itself out by removing all their own cards.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're no longer cycling, so you've got a lot longer to play with.
Okay, possible. But speaking of some things, a question I had for like what we want to see in 2026 with Worlds coming up, next month? It's in February. Do you think we're going to get a ban list this month? Kind of like how they did last year, where they did like an emergency, hey, here's a pre-Worlds ban list. You got a month to figure this out. Do you think we're going to see anything hit this month? Because I think that's this week that we're going to be getting that list?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday. So do you guys think, is there anything you're expecting to see or anything that you want to see get banned or errated?
But yeah, this was the next topic I was going to move on to because it has come up a bit.
Hey!
As much as I would like to see Massive Mutant Machine get slapped with a unique or Bridget get taken down before she becomes a massive issue, no, I don't think they're going to touch anything. The Buffalo Regionals didn't really give them any more information than they already had, and didn't really present any issues that they couldn't kind of handle. Mikasa's been on the fringes of being very good for a while, and although a lot of them got through, a lot of them also didn't make it into top cuts.
Okay. I don't think that's the argument to make when looking, or this whole argument to make,
No.
right? When looking at a ban list. I think what needs to be banned, and I think it changes the dynamics of world. There's a pre-equipment heist world and there's a post-equipment heist world. Right? And so equipment heist, whether you're pulling the massive mutant machines out or not, has warped all of the decks. Mikasa plays equipment heist hate. Everyone plays equipment heist hate. It's warped every deck that plays that doesn't play equipment heist, and what it's trying to do to handle equipment heist. So the gravity of that card and its influence on the meta, I think, is unmatched and unparalleled. You can nuke elements that it can pull, but you're just softening for another future problem because they're going to print some other busted ass equipment that's going to come in a future
Yeah.
set and they're going to end up with the same problem again. So I think probably equipment heist has to go. I think it changes the meta quite a bit and makes a lot more strategies more viable, or at least it doesn't clog up most every existing deck to have like 10 anti-equipment heist pieces in their deck, right, to be viable.
I could see that.
Yeah. I just think if they were going to touch equipment heist, it would have been before Buffalo. I don't think did Buffalo really give them any more data.
They don't need data. It's not about the data, right, Brad? Like, well, when they keep talking about data, like they have 4 people playing on TTS amongst each other and like 3 tournaments that submit results. So let's not like pretend that there's this boatload of data that's coming in here that's influencing the game plan here, right? So I think what it fundamentally comes down to is they didn't want to blow it up for Buffalo because King of Fighters and a few other things are going to come out the horizon. Buffalo was just 1 month away from a huge ban that they had already just like enacted. They didn't want to throw it all in at once.
And Guilty
And they
Gear just
want,
come out.
yeah, exactly. So they wanted to see, does this new environment still get influenced by an equipment heist world? And guess what? Yes, it still runs equipment heist everywhere, right? And so it just reinforced what they probably already knew. And I think if they don't, like, personally, I don't want them to touch equipment heist. I would love to play JJ with equipment heist and put 3 equipment heists out there and do disgusting things. I love that. But from a gameplay perspective, there is no one card that has warped the meta more and forced to play around this one card more than equipment heist. And so if you're going to touch anything, it's not Devil Jin, it's not Mikasa, all of those things are problems, right? And I think they need to be touched. But I think even if you touch them and you don't touch equipment heist, I still think you're ending up with the same problem, either for Worlds or whatever the heck comes out after post Worlds in 2026 that they haven't planned for. Because it doesn't seem like they plan, especially with TMNT, and then you have literally the next set later with Ocean Buddies. I know they say they do a lot of testing and planning, but
that's just
man.
I mean,
And you also got to consider if they keep giving us like if we do get teams prizing again, teams prizing's an asset. So then equipment heist really has to go into the thoughts of how you're letting these people design their champ cards.
Well,
So, I mean, I get it. There's only one character that runs evil and water and all these other things, but like these interactions are busted, right? Like they're just crazy.
Well, yeah, Cam, you might have more insight on this than me because I only really remember one. Looking at like meta warping cards, it took them over 2 years to address Twisting Azure Inferno. That's only because combined firepower pushed it over the line. But they did address Mob Strike quite quickly. Do you remember how quickly that was, Cam?
Not quick enough for me to not get my ass beat by every Taguro I played at the Vegas Regional. But I will say I think it was rather quick. I think it was within the first regional that younger Taguro was allowed to run it, and they said this having so many just 4 difficulty draw cards, and this one also lets you draw 2 is just a bit much.
Yeah.
So I did definitely wasn't anywhere near as long as Twisting Azure Inferno.
I'm just trying to think of other meta warping cards similar to Equipment Heist that players had to essentially play around that were addressed fairly quickly. I think Mob Shake's the only one. It's kind of like almost like a test.
Can I flip the question, Brett, a little bit? Because I'm recent and new, right?
Yeah.
But the recent bans with Sweeping Daggers, the Errata to Pony, all the other ones, has there historically ever been a time period where they've moved as aggressively and as holistically as they did with this last ban? Because to me, that shows good signs that they're willing to take the right steps. Because I haven't heard of anything historically like this, right?
I think
I don't know where to find the articles for pre-UVS Games stuff. Because if we were going to be doing something like that, it'd have to be pre-NHA.
No, I'm going to... Oh, it's going to be an absolute pain to find out. But Didn't they do a big sweep before Worlds before Set 2 went out?
That may have been
I
set one
know.
problems though, right? Like
Yeah,
because
a
it
lot,
was
a
that's
lot of
because
people have to do that.
Set-
that's because MHA Set 1 was designed with old standard in mind, which is that's basically a retro set.
Yeah.
And that's why we had a lot of issues there. Man, I don't know.
Because they did things that they didn't
Because
need
once
to
things are
this
banned,
last
I kind of
ban.
forget about them.
Yeah, no, I'm the same
Mob
way,
Strike was
so.
banned on the 7th of May.
And Yu Yu Hakusho came out in March.
Yu Hakusho came out in February.
Okay, so about 3 months.
3 months.
And I think there was only one regional between then.
I can't find anything post new website, but I swear when they before set after Set 1 rotated, but before Set 2 rotated, like Back Alley Haymaker and a bunch of stuff got axed, and it completely shifted the meta before that Worlds.
I don't know. I wasn't going to that world, so I didn't bother paying attention.
I just feel like there's something different in the air with the bands in Errata team or whatever's going on there in OP.
I think they're definitely
They're more
taking
responsive.
a closer look at things a lot longer between OP and design and playtesting. They're really going like, did we miss things? I think it was Response on Play. They interviewed Barrett Bryant, who's on the design team and the playtest team, and he even admits, he goes, "Look, you know, we're thinking 2 years ahead. Yeah, we're gonna miss some stuff, and sometimes we do miss a pretty big thing now and then. But they try to course correct as quickly as possible. Or some things they're like, oh, that didn't come up in testing, but some mad lad labbed it like a maniac and cracked the code. So sometimes it's just you just overlook some things, and it's like, okay, is this just a one-off or is this a problem? Like Nick Reagan was a problem.
Yeah, I mean they do catch some stuff. I heard Dabby 3 was a bigger issue than that had to kind of be hit hard before he came out.
He's still a big issue. I played against him in Glasgow, and
I love him. I love him with that fortune favored foundation. That's such a good combo.
I love Dabby 3, and I really wish I'd put more time into learning to play, but it's one of the things that, similar to when I played Dabby 1, I just needed to put like 200 games into the guy to make it viable. I can't make.
I did it in a weekend.
Making content
I
daily.
will
is
say
gonna
though, going back to the ban, if they don't
Yeah.
ban stuff, I think you're going to just see a bunch of Devil Jins and Mikasas. Because even if there's a ton of hate pieces against Devil Jin, it's still a casino that can win on turn 2, right? And those
Yeah.
decks are always dangerous, no matter what, right? You hit the nuts, right? And so I really do hope they touch Equipment Heist. I think that card probably has to go. It's just way too powerful. And now with the Ocean Buddy synergies on what you can pull in, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Ocean Buddy's just been able to put equipment heist online a lot quicker, and it's all well and good. I could sit here and go, well, we're getting Hadar in King of Fighters, which can shut off equipment heist, kind of, but control in this game requires everything to go perfectly for you and everything to go wrong for your opponent. And the chances that
Yeah.
you have Hadar and your opponent will have equipment heist is a lot lower than the time that your opponent will have equipment heist and you won't have Hadar.
You could not have stated it more perfectly, Brett. So,
Which sucks as a control player, but I make it work.
But I mean, I think equipment heist is an issue, but it's whether, to go back to it, the data supports it, and if that's 4 people in a room playing TTS, I don't think it's that big of an issue. It might be because those 4 people want to play the Worlds.
I'm joking about that. Obviously,
Yeah.
Brett. I think the key is people look for the direct evidence.
Will's gonna shout me
like
for that.
Equipment Heist winning. I think it's more, hey, look at the indirect impact that this card is having around everything around it.
Yeah.
Right. So it may not be winning the tournaments, but it is influencing how every deck in that tournament plays and operates,
It's
right?
it's the Giro problem. So before your time, we had a character called Giro 1. And Giro 1 gave speed to weapons for how many weapons you were in your card pool, and damage to charge for how many charges were in your card pool. And that character was so meta whopping, UVS didn't print powerful charge and weapon cards that had both the keywords on until that character rotated. But she didn't win events. She just it was a character you had to play around. It's a character you had to be aware of and your deck had to have answers for. But she never really got touched. She never really got interacted with because it was multiple pieces. But when it's been cards like vertical maneuvering equipment, where this one card is warping and it has to be a must be in every single deck, UVS have said, yeah, that's creating a negative play experience for players. We need to deal with it, even if it is a card that people are really hyped for. So I can
Or
see,
like sweeping daggers, which shadow bans specific cards that kind of nullify some complete
yeah.
decks.
I will say I'm gonna go down with that one on that hill, Cam. I think sweeping daggers is gone. I still don't see any of those attacks back in. I think people didn't play those attacks because those attacks are bad, and playing anything above a 5
I've got a
in this
rumbling
game.
smiling titan that I was prepping for a friend of mine for Worlds this year, and now he's backing off again. But
before you can cast it, you know.
I don't know, man. It's a pretty solid deck,
I mean,
and as long as he gets 6 foundations, he can just chuck it.
as much as I love sweeping daggers, and I don't think it was that big of a problem because it was only as powerful as your opponent's deck. I would like to see more unexpected outcome decks coming because unexpected outcomes is such a cool card. But sweeping daggers just went, yeah. But like I say, it's kind of weird because UVS knew they were printing a bunch of high difficulty, high impact attacks, and then went, here's a sweeping daggers 2 sets in that just makes them all unplayable. It's like that's a choice.
Yeah, actually, again, I did play that deck in Louisville against Jeremy Ray when we were doing some pickup games, and he was like, "That's freaking nasty, man." I'm like, "You made it. You literally made the Attack on Titan set. This is your fault."
I mean, so Cam, you're speaking to my heart. I'm a person who just wants to throw big dumb monsters at people and swing.
I hit him with rumbling 3 turns in a row.
Oh my god!
Because I drew 2, and then the third one I picked up with setting the stage. If you take 5 or more damage, pick up an attack from your discard pile. So I picked up a third rumbling, and I just stared at him dead in his eyes. And he's like, "You son of a."
I mean, it's one of the things and we all kind of love. The last regionals we had before in 2024, I played Dabby 1 4 check attacks because I wanted to go. Here's a knockdown blow. That's 7, but it makes my female Titan attacks coming in 3 difficulty less and plus 6 damage. It's like cool. Here's my 7 high 13 second attack of a 4 on with 4 plus 1 progressive difficulty. Like that's crazy. It's like yeah,
gross.
The first thing I did when AOT 1 drop was how many of these can I play in Zilla?
I've actually done that. I designed a knockdown Zilla for another of my locals because he's a big fan of Godzilla, and now that he doesn't have his Titan Cliff, he's like, man, Zilla feels clunky. I'm like, go back to the deck I built for you. It still works, I promise.
As much as
but people just don't listen to me, and then they end up regretting it.
As much as people shout at me from it, I think we're going to see big attacks in Godzilla. I think we're going to see high cost, high impact attacks because it makes the most sense for that set. But
the problem with the high impact attacks, right, is that they're not efficient. So to make them playable, you have to do things like, hey, I'm going to give you a foundation that makes it free and gives you +2 to your check and +1/+1, so that you can play all these highly inefficient attacks in a row.
City Rampage.
So like you basically end up creating things like that to overcome the value deficit, right? For the fact that like 4 diffs and like a lot of 4 diffs are high value, when I'm looking at how much I'm spending and what I'm getting out of them versus a 7 diff or a 9 diff or a 13 diff, right?
Yeah.
Over the course of a game. And so they have to print things to overcome that value deficit because, oh, I played this 13 diff and I get Genkais and I sit there sad for the rest of the game, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to figure out ways to balance that risk reward.
It's kind of why the 13 diff is on the suspended list for retro. Is because the world.
There's so many ways to play it for free.
Yeah, like there's the character that won Worlds Retro last year. What Nefertiti?
Natali
that just gets to go. I'll play it for free, and then you've got Mina One that goes, if I check it, I'm gonna play it for free. And it's like, oh, cool, yeah. It's like, so
I don't mean to excite you, Brett, but you can play Hadir in Mina 1 in retro.
Oh, this.
Ooh.
I mean, planning on building Mina 1 again in retro because I just have so much fun Mina 1. It's so good. But we're not here to talk about retro. But yeah, I think for the health of the game, hitting equipment heist would be very cool. Will they actually do it? I don't know because, like you said, it's whether or not they think at their core, Devil Jin, Pumat Soul, these characters that the ones that are abusing equipment heist the most are that big enough of a threat that they're going to dominate worlds. And from the I have no intention of going to worlds, so from the outside I can see how that would be unfun at worlds. But at the same time, keeping equipment heist in would make worlds a lot more competitive because you need to have the answer.
Well, I think by taking equipment heist out, you change the competitiveness. I think it's still competitive. It's just competitive in a different way. It now opens up a lot more strategies and archetypes because now I don't have to dedicate so many resources to think about how do I work around equipment heist and how do I work around getting turn two'd by equipment heist and prevent that, right? And dedicate my entire sideboard to it sometimes, right? Or whatever defensive piece I need. So I don't know. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I'm
No.
not one of those people who's on the fence saying like, there are people who are like, I'm not like, I don't want to play if equipment heist is there. I love equipment heist. It's my favorite card in the game. Like I like doing unfair things. That's why I am Cam's biggest retro video fan because I keep learning about things that I'm like, how was this ever legal to begin with? Right? It just blows my mind. And
Well, what's
so
funny is a lot of them weren't.
okay, that's good to know. But like so I'm not shying away from that, right?
No.
Like I love equipment ice and I run most of my decks with equipment ice. But I can also objectively say whether you like it or not, it warps 30 to 40% of the decks in the meta in some shape, a way, or form, right?
Yeah.
And I actually think that's probably low, right? And so in a post equipment heist world, I don't know what that looks like. I think there's a lot of things that can successfully operate and run given one more turn or half a turn of time when their clock isn't accelerated. Mikasa probably will have to get touched too because drawing infinity cards is crazy in any game. But
Yeah.
outside of those, I think like somehow the meta is in a pretty healthy state right now. Like
Yeah. Like I said, there's no real right answer. I'm just feeling like we had this exact, not with yourself, of course, but I feel like myself and Richard at the time had this exact same conversation before Worlds last year about Godzilla and One Punch Deku and all these meta
Didn't they
threats.
ban or errata a bunch of stuff right before Worlds last year, or was that the year before?
That was the year before. So
Okay.
not that much really got touched. I think vertical equipment heist. No, because that was playable in
Vertical
Mitchell Smino.
equipment heist.
That was playable. That was playable in Mitchell Smino.
we're
So no.
combining all the good cards in one.
Could you imagine vertical maneuvering equipment with equipment heist?
I think vertical maneuvering equipment got hit at the same time as Mox.
They're both allowed in retro.
But anyway, I digress. We were sat here and we were talking about Godzilla and how big of a threat that was. and we'll talk about One Punch Deku and the control aspects of Ghidorah. And the deck that won it all was Broberg on Hange, a character people had written off. So I think, as much as Equipment Heist is warping the meta, through that adversity breeds creativity, and we might see Broberg and Travis Tangerman and Tam and Mitchell and Phil Birch pulling out characters and combinations and stuff that no average player or no player of my skill level could actually see to deal with Equipment Heist and kind of go, Equipment Heist is an issue, but it's not the only thing I'm going to face, and I also need to kill.
I think that's though a symptom of small game problems, right? Like if I increase the sample size or the pool of worlds to 750 people and I say run through the meta, with your cute deck and see how far you can get. Like obviously the most skilled players on the planet are going to be able to outskill or skill diff a lot of people with a lot of decks, and that happens no matter which game you're in. But you are gonna luck into a few more wins, playing against a smaller crowd than if my sample size is huge and I have to go through that gauntlet time and time and time again to be able to get through that. That's very difficult to do, right? And so I again, that's why I never really look at who wins or who top, like I look at who top cuts. I look at conversion rates,
Yeah.
right? Those are important. All those things are important, but looking at deck construction, looking at how, like, which symbols are viable, like is everyone playing death because Equipment Heist exists, right? And we need answers. Like those are things that I think are elements that need to be taken into consideration when thinking about the ban, right? Like it's the whole overarching picture. And it's like, okay, is this influencing things to the point where, certain symbols aren't even being picked, right? Certain cards are like, how many forcing surrenders do I see in the meta, right? That have to be there. And like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know, right? Like,
at a
why game designers get paid.
At a regionals level, I 100% agree. But Worlds is smaller; it's more concentrated. Day one of Worlds, yes, you're going to have that issue with the people with their essential last chance to qualify for day two. But day two of Worlds, where you've got that concentrated level of skill, where you've got the best people in our game all fighting for that day three seat, that is where these cute decks, these
But we saw that at Buffalo, right? Like Buffalo was a bloodbath. It was because I'm gonna put a little love for the trading post here, because we went and did so many regionals and we pushed so many people into the top. Some people had to come out of hibernation to come play at Buffalo to make sure that they got their top 8 points, or didn't lose. And so Buffalo turned into one of the most competitive regionals if you look in terms of player quality. You have the Brobergs, the Keefs, well,
Well, that's
Broberg
also
wasn't
because
there,
they
but Keefe,
live right up there. So
for
they're
sure.
all in
But
New
like
York.
Nick Reagan showed up, right? From California, came out to play. You had all of the folks from like the Texas area. We had a few folks from Atlanta. All the Michigan folks came out. So there were a good deal of competitive players in that space, and you know, you saw Devil Jins, you saw Mikasas, you saw a bunch of Kristas to stack threes in combat, some of these aggressive decks. Um, I don't know. I think I'm interested to see what King of Fighters does. I think
yeah.
that has a lot of answers. I think Hadir Loop is crazy. I think the
One
whole
myself.
Yep. And I definitely think there are some options with Benimaru, like 75 attacks is crazy in a turn. So I think there's some busted stuff out there that needs to be explored and will be, but it still pales in comparison. I can take Devil Jin, I can give it to a person, give me a month. I am that use case, right? Give me Devil Jin for a month, teach me the lines, and it doesn't matter. I can go in and win like 50% of my matches just by showing up,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Although
is
I do
that
find
is
it hilarious that for a symbol that was so neglected, Equipment Heist has evil. and that one card is allowing these neglected characters to kind of show up.
I bet they did that on purpose too.
Hey.
They were like, no one plays evil, so we can just shove this broken thing in evil and
If
it
And
limits
then
how
look
many
what
broken
happens.
if Equipment Heist didn't have a tune, it'd be a lot less played.
Mhm.
I will give you
100%.
that. I will 100% give you that.
Our motto for Devilgen, and we all rock Devilgen at Buffalo.
Yeah.
I sat out last second and Tam tapped in for me because I already made day 2 of Worlds and I just wanted to make content. But our motto for Devilgen is baby games for babies. So
Baby games for babies.
that's what Devilgen is, baby. Right? Like just like it kind of plays itself if you know what you're doing.
It kind of reminds me
plays
of.
itself.
It kind of reminds me. Let's talk UVS at Albuquerque, where they all turned up playing Nick Reagan.
Nick
In
Reagan.
the case of we want to get Nick Reagan touched, so we're all just playing Nick Reagan until Nick Reagan gets dealt with, and then he did. He got around.
I almost did that with Lord Raptor 2 back in the retro days.
And
I
then
threatened
it won
to get one of my
Worlds.
pick. Yeah, well, it was right before that I was like, I gotta do something about this character. This character's dumb. I'm breaker sevening people, and it's just not fair.
That's crazy. But yeah,
That character
I
should
don't
not have 3 abilities.
No,
So-
like you said, I can definitely see your points as to why Equipment Heist should get touched, but I can also understand why they wouldn't. Like you said, there's no correct answer here. Both worlds of post-ban are reasonable.
I do think from a play experience standpoint, though, probably banning Equipment Ice is a good idea, just because, you know, Mutant Machine, we can say it's an archetype, but I think it's more of a crutch than it is an archetype, right? It's, you know, I think
I will die on this hill. That card should have been unique.
Yeah,
I will die. I will
agree.
kill people on this hill. I will bury them.
Similar to
Like I like better more puzzles, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to win
Yeah.
Nago Ryuki. I'm like, how do I create Mutant Machine in the aggregate? Right? Like how do I get damage from him? How do I get speed elsewhere? How do I kind of recreate it? Like just being like, here's something that just says +5/+5, right? Like, I don't know.
Similar to Twisting Azure, it limits that design as well because they can't print good assets now because any asset they print that shares a symbol of a character that has evil goes, cool. Equipment Heist gets to abuse this. Similar to how Azure went.
Yeah, no more infinity assets.
If you print a good action, Azure gets to abuse it, and it's like, yeah, cool. So we might, if we don't see it Worlds, we possibly see it before Godzilla because Godzilla will definitely have some assets.
Possibly. We didn't see any in Guilty Gear.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh yeah, there were no assets, right?
But
well,
it
no
was a
backups
smaller
either.
set.
It was
so
a tiny set.
And no backups, yeah.
But
But
I mean,
it might depend on the size of the Godzilla set. We know there's at least 10 characters, so it's going to be a bigger set.
there's 15 characters, I believe.
Oh, well, I just know there's 10 chromes, so we have at
name
least
you
10
more than
characters.
4 Godzilla monsters off the top of my head. So the fact that they're 15 is wild. to
There's
me.
10 chromes. The 10 chromes is wild to me.
Yeah. 10 chromes, so I know there's at least 10 characters. So it's going to be a heftier set. I just hope it's not
a lot
as
of
bloated
my
as,
assumptions on the Godzilla
Yeah,
set come from the Challenger.
I shouldn't leak this. They're gonna kill me, but a little bit of a preview of Godzilla. So Godzilla, the new one, his version, he allows you to pull City Rampage from your deck and put it out onto the battlefield immediately. You start with it in play. And you know, they actually allow you to Titan Cliff on character this time around. So
that would be dumb and hilarious.
I mean,
but on the one hand, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah,
It was fine in playtest.
But for me, it's also the case of starting your first build turn with +1 progressive when you can't utilize City Rampage is a fair compromise.
True.
that's true.
You're just playing all 1s and 0s, so it doesn't matter.
Well, that's funny.
What zeros? What zeros are you playing post rotation, Cam?
Hey, maybe we'll get some in Godzilla. Who knows?
No, not a chance. Zeros.
Yeah, it'll be a blank with a 3 mid block called Destroyed City.
Zero's
city post rampage.
Zero's the dead.
What is it? Crawl the wall. What is it? Crawl in the
Crawl
Crawl to the wall.
Crawl to the wall. There we go. That's quality right there.
And Zero did 3 per block mod, 4 check. 4 check! Tynecliff is banned, yes, because...
minus 1 damage or plus 1 damage, something like that?
Waiter Flair is asking if Tynecliff is banned. Yes, Tynecliff is banned because...
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Selective mulligans is fine. If you want to be real spicy,
Like
you can...
the week before I started building Mount Lady 2 to make Pumpkin Buster unblockable, they banned that. Well, I don't see how I'm reviewing fast enough for this anymore.
I mean, if you want to get real spicy, Deus Ex Machina is a selective review.
Oh, I know. I'm using that with Earthbreaker in Suzuki to draw half my deck to pump a Suzuki Flurry to lethal on like turn 2.
Nice. But yeah, so apart from Equipment Heist and a Mikasa Errata, is there anything else that we see as a big issue?
You just got to ban Devil Jin.
He's been errated and still
I'm sorry. He's been errated twice and he's still ridiculously unfair, right? Like, that's got to tell you something, right? Like,
I don't think it's Devil Jin that's the issue. It's all the support he keeps getting. Like, he died after his nerf, and then he got loads of support. It's like, cool.
Yeah, but what's easier, predicting the future for 2 years of cards that haven't come out yet, or just banning an existing?
If you control that future,
I think you can ban it in standard play. I'm sure no one gives a shit. Like, I think we all assume that there are all these contractual obligations to keep it in standard play. I think you'll find like the licensing terms on some of these agreements to not really care, as long as it's in print and it's being sold and making money and meeting their marketing commitments in the beginning. I don't think
this was an
restrictions as people think.
Devil Jin was an OP promo, so it's
yeah.
But yeah,
maybe we'll get a new Devil Jin in Tekken 8.
We most definitely will, right? Like,
he can join Twisting His Inferno in the realms of can't be played anywhere because Devil Jin's banned in retro.
Yeah,
yeah, for good fucking reason.
Yeah.
So,
but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. A character that's so bad that he got banned in retro. Right?
No,
but it's legal in standard.
I technically can't say anything about that because you gave me a good idea to do a new retro video. I'm gonna go over the character that I got banned from retro without even playing it.
Momo,
okay, I'm in for that.
Yeah. So you weren't around for it, but when Momo 1 from MHA 1 was dropped, he was banned in retro before she hit standard.
She was banned instantly because that's dumb as shite.
Funny thing is, so I'm going to Spain, right? And they play Heroic, and I asked them about their ban list. And their ban list is whatever was banned in standard at the time.
Oh, no.
So Momo was never banned in standard. Nope. So Momo is legal in Heroic. So I'll be playing Momo.
Hey, what evil characters are there in Heroic?
We're not playing Equipment Heist Nomu. We're not playing Equipment Heist Nomu.
That's what we're doing.
I didn't say anything about Nomu.
But yeah, there's some options there that I want to explore. That
Jiro 1 just gets to 4-check Nomu Connor. However, 4-check Nomu is fine, but Jiro kind of just does silly things in Heroic because you got all this cool stuff. You know, like in fact, you can add loop de loop, which is just going to be absolutely insane.
Loading so slow for me.
But like Blue Card and Heroic and something I would really love to explore a bit more. It's a fan format, and I generally get to play the games that people offer me when I'm available to play them. I did suggest someone to just copy my top 4 Nats list for Heroic. I just went, just take Void Punches Midnight and just advance to that because I still don't think there's an answer to an 11 speed 6 as your first attack turn 2.
Send that over. I need to put together a list by end of January and I don't even know 90% of the cards. In
You take Midnight One, you take repeated 100% Smash, and you just throw it at people.
You know the funny thing is, this is how broken I
You could
think
run
Devil
it in
Jin is. I was
Ragdoll.
like, I can just take Devil Jin and run it, and I'm sure I'll be okay.
You could. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got Tokiyami, which can run Summon Dark Shadow Ruin, Crow and Frog, and City Rampage.
And Equipment Heist.
And Equipment Heist.
Yep, because he's got evil.
You know,
you can run it in Ragdoll, and Ragdoll can form once per game. Search your deck for one card and add it in your hand.
Yes, you can
so
just
like, cool, I'm
Ragdoll.
Ready to go in. Let me get my Equipment Heist straight to my hand.
Equipment Heist can go get. But Dark Shadow Ruin makes makes actions not count towards progressive, so you can run Summon Dark Shadow, City Rampage, Equipment Heist, and they just don't count towards progressive. Crow and Frog doesn't count towards progressive itself, so it makes Equipment Heist easy to pop off. This is just me.
Yeah. This is a
nasty deck.
And like I said, that's just gross.
Yeah, no, it's set. Like you said, set 1 MHA was designed with old standard in mind.
Yep. They were trying to keep up with the old retro thing, so set 1 of MHA is basically a retro set.
I am, however, glad that One with Nature would still be banned in that ban list then. Because One with Nature didn't get played in retro, didn't get played in standard when it was in standard, absolutely destroyed standard play.
Damn.
Yeah, a little bit.
But right, we've gone over 2 hours. Thanks for being here, you guys. It's been great to have this chat talking about the year as it's coming, changes we'd like to see. Although we don't get to play as competitive as you guys over the pond, I'm relatively hopeful for this year. I'm gonna try and travel around a little bit, see if I can record local championships, but it's a 6-hour journey each way for me to do that, so I'm gonna hopefully try and work well. Yeah, it's not the best, but I think for international players this year, this is a year where the players that want to keep playing are going to try and show UVS they were wrong for taking regionals away, and for the players that have already left, I hope you guys come back in 2027. I really do. I'm really excited to see where OP goes for us. If you want to get more new player content, if you want to get more rules interactions and what if series are for retro and other cards, go check out Cam on UVS Hermit. And if you want to get the top cuts deck lists, interactive content, if you want to see some of the best and brightest from all over UVS, go check out the trading post. Their socials gets updated quite a lot. They're dropping more and more videos, and now they've got a brand new studio. It's a great time to invest in the trading post because they're an up and coming content creator, but they've got some of the best players and content creators in the team. So I'm sure you're hitting the ground running.
No, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Now, as you've been massive supporters of the community, I mean, you upgraded Cam's mic in exchange for a few cards. You made sure that I could get to one of the last regionals. You took loads of players out of the US to go to Glasgow regionals. You're flying out to Spain for a community event. You are avid supporters of the community of this game, and that should be commended. It's not a clout issue. You're not trying to monetize it. You're not trying to get anything from it. You're just showing your love of the game. And if we don't support people who love this game, what are we even doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think what Cam said is something that like resonates with me. We just want people to play with, right? And we want to grow the game, and we want people to have healthy communities. And so, if you have ideas, you have a community you want to grow, you just need a little support. I'm sure anybody on this video would be willing to help, but reach out to the trading post. We have resources. We have things to help you get this game off the ground because it's the greatest game in the business, and we want more people playing.
Absolutely.
There's a quote from the sports anime haiku that has stuck with me for years, which has always been the best reward for doing well at a game is getting to play another game. And that's been my mentality going into Top Cuts and stuff like that. My reward for doing well in Top Cuts is I get to play more of this game, and that is so very cool. If you're a new player looking for advice, if you're looking for help with a deck, if you're just looking to play games, if you're looking to get into content and looking how to get help with that, or if you're a store owner or a player looking to grow your local scene, like Sidia said, reach out to us, reach out to us on Discord, through Twitter, X, Blue Sky, Reddit, wherever you actually do your social media, and we'll happily get you in touch with people, or as Sidia said, they've got the resources themselves to help you grow your community and basically introduce you to the greatest community card games for the best card game.
Yeah, I'm only on YouTube and Discord, so I'm one of the more hard to find people. But I'm fielding questions from people on Discord all the time now, and it kind of threw me off for a second, just getting texted by random people that I don't know. But I'm getting used to it. But I love helping people out, explaining things, designing decks for people. I once spent, I think, 2.5 hours on a Discord call with someone who was trying to build a Toga 3 deck for a regional they wanted to go to. And they were like, I don't know, I don't even know where to start. I was like, hop on a call, let's do it. Let's figure out what you want to play. And he said that one of the cards he wanted to play, he didn't because Phil Birch said it was ass. I'm like, put 4 of that card in there. Show Phil Birch that he's wrong.
Which card was it?
It was the 1/5/3 low block from Attack on Titan Apocalypse that gives your first attack +1/+1. And you're playing your first
Deadlock.
attack, and
Deadlock enhanced. Okay, I know you're.
No, it's just an enhance. Your first, if this is your first attack, it gets +1/+1.
No,
so he's
but
playing his first
It
attack.
has a deadlock enhance on it. That's why people play it. It's the
Oh.
starts with an I, like intimidate or something like that.
I do not know, but yeah, it's oh.
But yeah, I would do something similar. Like some people from regionals and Blanche reached out, so I've been playing games with them on TTS during the day. And yeah, it's one of those things that by experiencing different decks, by building different decks, by playing the game and playing other people's decks that you've liked, you grow as players. One of my biggest things when it comes to deck building is I don't like to build decks for people. I like to offer them advice on their decks because it helps them kind of grow as deck builders. Like I started off this game building my own decks and taking advice from people and seeing what works, what doesn't work. There's no bad decks. It's just opportunities for growth. But
I had a lot of those opportunities starting out because I taught myself how to play this game, and I was a really shitty teacher back then. So I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I learned from a Jasco Mega Man versus Proto Man video with 2 models playing the game, and then I sat there.
Oh, I remember that video.
And then I sat there and played Minata 1 on webcam for 2 months straight because I knew it was a bad character, but I knew I'd learned more by playing a character I thought who was cool and losing than by playing a meta deck that I didn't understand and winning.
Yeah, absolutely. You can never go wrong with more information, and the more ways you can experience different play styles is not only going to make you a better player playing those styles, but playing against those styles. I often tell my locals that I don't want you sitting across from something at a regional to be the first time you see that character.
Yeah.
So I'm always building something different for my locals to give them new experiences and stuff like that.
If you're worried about, if you're ever worried about a deck like Devil Jin or Mikasa or anything like that, my personal advice: play it. Play Devil Jin, play Mikasa, see how it feels. Get in the headspace of what your opponents are going through, what they're looking for, how long it takes them to set up, what they need to win, and how you, by understanding how that player plays that deck and what they need to do to pop it off, even if it is baby brain, throw orange cards and stack them and keep drawing them. The more you understand that deck, the easier it will be to disrupt it.
That is exactly how I almost made top 8 at Nationals a few years ago. I was playing Hagakure 1 in the Tokoyami 1 and Kirishima 2 meta.
Yeah.
And I just knew exactly what cards I needed to stop. And that's all I really needed, all the information I really needed. And I was one match away from top 8. I got really unlucky in my final round.
Fun
But
fact, for
sometimes just knowledge is all you need.
For the first Nationals I did with Dabby 1, my sideboard characters were Hakagori 1 and Midnight 1 because they were great into Tokiyami and Kirishima. But we've been going on a bit longer here. Thanks you guys for being here. So yeah, always a pleasure to be here, to have you here. As you can see, I still have my Guilty Gear boxes ready for us to
I have my 2 boxes ready. So you let me know. The studio's ready. We're ready to record.
We have to definitely.
We do the 3v3 too.
Yeah, we can get 3v3. We can get battles in. Now that you guys got the studio set up and you're ready to go, I am more than down to collaborate whenever you guys are free to do it. Cam, always a pleasure to be here. We need to get you TTS at some point so you can start getting some more games in as well.
I know. I'm just an old man who resists technology.
But we'll do a podcast why Phil Birch is wrong on undercover infiltration, Cam.
Undercover infiltration, that's it. Okay, yeah. Like I said, it's so good, especially if you play Twirling Needle. They're all your first attacks.
I'm making Brett really angry because every time he tries to do an outro, I throw something in there to ruin it.
I mean, if you can talk Phil Birch into coming onto the podcast while you two just berate him onto why he's wrong about cards, I'd happily sit here and mediate that. It's like, Phil Birch gives me a list of like 10 cards he thinks are trash, and you two have a go in for each of those cards. That's content. That's peak content.
Hey, I can do devil's advocate. I can be prosecutor or defense attorney. Let's go.
That list is longer than 10 cards, my friend.
Yeah. But also, would he really want to come on the British podcast to get hosed when he already got hosed in Britain?
Oh man.
I mean, if the amount of Americans that have got hosed in Britain didn't want to come on the podcast, that would be a very short list of people that would actually come on the podcast.
Exactly.
That's fair. I haven't had a chance to get hosed in Britain yet.
It's fine. I'll come over to you.
Hopefully, I can afford that someday.
I lost to an American in Top Cuts, so it was friendly fire on my way out. So
I was lucky enough to dodge everyone, but I lost to a couple of Spanish players.
But I will say, Phil Birch is still like just a cool dude, and I don't actually harbor any.
Oh, he's the best. I know he'll love the ribbing on undercover infiltration. He calls it. It's the one with the baseball, right? So
yeah, where the guy's throwing the baseball up in the air.
Yeah. So no, but it's always a pleasure, both of you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I'll let you guys say your goodbyes, and then I'll do my outro. So, Cam, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, UVS Hermit. That's my Discord as well. So if you have any questions learning the game or just want to talk about cards and deck building stuff, feel free to hit me up.
Sinead, would you like to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just going to interrupt your outro as well to see how you like it.
We roll with the punches, Brett. So over at the Trading Post, you can find all sorts of random topics, but a ton of Universus related content, whether it be deck techs, gameplay, grinding, and testing going into Worlds. And we have a new podcast that's about to launch, I think, sometime next week. So just look for the Trading Post on all the socials, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch, YouTube, etc. And then on any of the Discords, hit up anyone from the TTP team. We are here to help the community any way we can, and everyone on the team shares that ethos. So feel free to reach out anytime. Thanks for having us.
No, you guys are welcome anytime. Like I said, if we can't highlight the members of our community that are bolstering and doing it for the love of the game, then what's the point of being content creators? That's the whole thing that we're meant to do here. It's great having you guys on. I'm looking forward to seeing the new podcasts and everything that you're coming. Sounds like you guys are really moving ahead with content. Be sure to check out UK Versus. I've got a bunch of new members only content up there. But for theories, news, and more, win, lose, or draw, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we will see you all at game night. Bye.
Good night, everyone.